And the winners are...
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, so we have the latest results from our survey of economists. They took a look across the world, and a few key takeaways here. I think first is that Asia, emerging markets, Africa, to a lesser extent, still home to the world's fastest growing economies. I mean, you look at the top 10. 6 are from Asia, you have 2 from Africa.
Yeah.
I believe 1 is from South America, that's Peru. We'll get to that in just a moment. And 1 other is in the Middle East.
Yep.
The UAE.
Yep.
Of course, Abu Dhabi and Dubai, of course, and 5 other Emirates, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 7 Emirates. Okay, top 5, 4 out of the top 5 are in Asia. Kenya is in between, of course, the top 2 and top 5 there. 6% growth. China, that's a slowdown there, 7%. The Philippines, 6.3%. India, Indonesia, 5.3 and 5.5%. So mostly oil importers, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, all oil importers. Kenya, of course, there the challenge really is, again, unemployment, high poverty rate. But, as with the case of all emerging markets, the gray area is certainly a big part, unaccounted, obviously,
of course, right,
of the economy. So take a look at that. Okay, top 6 to 10. You do have 2 more Asian countries here. Nigeria comes in 6th, which is the biggest economy in Africa, of course. I mentioned the UAE, United Arab Emirates, just under 4%, and Peru is at 4.3%. Maybe just to put all of this into context, Angie, the global median forecast, and these are all above that median forecast, is at 3.2%. I mean, I think you have 10 other countries above that. Singapore just managing to nudge itself into the top 20, above that global median forecast. And I think another takeaway here is that the ASEAN 5, if you include Singapore, are in the top 20. So again, this group of countries has really been doing well. Obviously, low oil prices helping all of the ASEAN 5, with the exception, of course, of Malaysia, which is an oil exporter.
All right, it's great that Asia factors so highly in the top 5, 10, 20, as you said. But what about the major economies? I mean, that's the heavy lifter when it comes to the global economy. Median forecast at 3.2%, as you said. How are those major economies bearing weight?
They're all under the 3.2%. The U.S. is a little bit... it's about a notch lower, 3.1%. The UK, that's another key factor here, because you put together the US and the UK. Here we go. This makes up about 25%, if I'm not mistaken, of the global economy. The top 5 that we just mentioned, about 16%, which includes China. So, when you say drivers of growth, you also have to look at the relative size, of course, or the weighting, really, on the global economy. Eurozone and Japan sticking points, of course, and we all know, of course, the U.S., to a lesser extent, the U.K., more geared right now towards tighter, at least normalizing monetary policy. That's the world median, as I mentioned.